maybe we do.
I keep thinking about China. Like the reason we went in. Well, I guess it was when Hawaii got bombed, when Pearl Harbor got bombed. But really, when Hitler invaded Poland, is when the world was like, oh, whoops, and went and declared war on Germany. Like Britain and France, they all declared war on Germany after they invaded. So if China was to, I know there's talk of them
didn't
invading.
Britain do nothing until they got blitzkrieged or something?
No. First, France and England, they did nothing. Neville Chamberlain signed a peace
in our time.
Yeah. Hey, Hitler's cool. Time Man of the Year. And then Hitler, they gave him the Sudetenland, which was part of Poland that used to be Germany before the Treaty of Versailles. World War I actually took part of Germany and gave it to Poland. Apparently, the Polish government was executing Germans. They were like, this is Polish land now. It was really horrible. So Hitler was like, that's reason for me to invade. That was his. And they gave him the Sudetenland, Neville Chamberlain. Now it's good. He's not going to do anything crazy. Then they invaded Poland, and that was when Britain and France declared war on Germany. And then Germany was like, ha, 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 and they drove all these tanks into France through the Ardennes forest.
And then France was like, we give up?
Yeah, France had this Maginot Line, this giant defensive line, prepared this impenetrable line, but they didn't put it through the forest of the Ardennes. They were like, they can't get through there. But Germany had the tanks. It was new technology, the unexpected technology. The Blitzkrieg. And China, that's the thing about going to war is the unexpected technology.
Exactly. Yeah, if we truly like it's a good point you were saying about unexpected consequences. If right now we all got, righteously indignant and said we must stop the concentration camps in China, and then all of a sudden Xi Jinping is flying around in a Gundam wing, like full mech suit with like a giant sword, and we're like, oh man, what have we done? We can't stop that. We don't know what kind of weapons they're using. Cyber attacks. Many people believe, and I'm not going to pretend to know all this stuff, but there's something called industrial control systems. And I talk to a lot of people who believe all the governments basically are in a Mexican standoff where they've infected the industrial control systems of other countries and could flick a switch and just take out all their water pumps and their oil refineries and electrical grid instantly.
What's that weapon? It's like something in space or in
electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah, where it can shut down all the electrical grid. That's my biggest fear.
That's what my dad was worried about.
Because
we don't kill each other.
I don't know.
I don't know, but when Bannon was in the White House, I believe he was saying that China had them.
Yeah.
And I just remember reading the article and being like, that's freaking terrifying.
Yep.
Like,
That'll
that
mess you up.
actually scares me.
So build a double Faraday cage,
Yep.
in your basement, store all your goods. So you build the Faraday cage, and then you put a microwave in it, and then you put your stuff in the microwave, because microwaves are also a Faraday cage. And then
I didn't know microwaves were.
Yeah.
Makes sense, obvious.
So, a lot of preppers will buy microwaves and then put cell phones in them and stuff. But it's not enough. You need more than that. Because I've actually been in Faraday cages, and they're not perfect. They can't stop everything. There's leaks.
Right.
So you build 2 layers and then try and fortify it in the event they have an EMP weapon.
You might be able to build, I think EMPs will knock out batteries too, like discharge all the batteries.
Really?
But I think
I've heard that too. Something like that.
But you might be able to build solid state batteries that could resist
They
EMP
just had the first breakthrough with a solid state battery. It's literally just happened a year ago or something.
They've got these nuclear batteries where they store nuclear waste in glass, carbon glass, and it just produces massive amounts of I don't know what kind of heat energy. So those would defy, I would imagine, but then you got to capture the energy, obviously.
I don't know what they got, but I'll tell you this: if we recently had that guy come out, the Navy patent guy, saying we have reality warping technology and warp drive, whatever he called it, and I think whatever the military's got, we wouldn't know. Like the Manhattan Project was crazy compartmentalization. Nobody even knew what they were building. That's the crazy thing, because they separated in different groups.
Smart.
So people were like, I don't know what I'm building. I'm building rivets. And then only the people at the top knew what they were combining to make one of the most powerful weapons mankind has ever seen.
I would imagine that's going on right now.
Yeah.
You want to know what's crazy?
Yeah.
The bombs we dropped on Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the bombs we have today are, I believe, 1,250 times more powerful than the bombs we actually used. So when you see, the footage of these tests or whatever, you have no idea what one ICBM can do, because we've never actually seen it used on a civilian population. We've seen the first, I think the atomic bomb that we used was a gravity bomb. We just dropped it from a plane. Mm-hmm. Now we have intercontinental ballistic missiles. The multiple independently targeting re-entry vehicle, the MIRV. It goes up into the stratosphere and then drops 8 to 12 warheads and then peppers just all these bombs, substantially more powerful.
Yeah,
than
I'm
the
talking
bombs
about
we
the
saw.
nuclear submarines that we don't know are all around our coast right now.
Yeah.
Like the Chinese nuclear submarines that are just up and down the west coast that we
Yeah.
can't detect. Yeah, don't mess
So
with it.
we might get some, righteous indignation, and we're like, we must end what's going on in China. And like I said, I know it's silly to say Xi Jinping in a giant Gundam wing mobile suit or whatever, but they might come out with, sonic weapons, EMP weapons. We heard about the story about the Havana syndrome, where they were
Yeah.
using some kind of directed energy weapon to like make people. This is scary stuff. So I don't know if this is confirmed now. Wasn't it like? Didn't they confirm some kind of weapon?
They didn't confirm some kind of weapon. I think they thought it was like some kind of low level ultrasonic frequency. They didn't say
So,
that it was a weapon. I don't think.
People were hearing a hum, and then all of a sudden they became
They got sick.
photosensitive.
Yeah.
They were sick. They would get dizzy. Their memory
You
would
can
be
do
screwed
that
up.
with sound too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was an audio engineer, I remember we had a huge long conversation with another producer about how certain frequencies can make you lose control of your bowels and
Yeah.
stuff.
The brown note.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll sing on the
Brown
toilet sometimes to try and hit that brown note.
The legendary.
Try
it.
brown
That
note.
way.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Like, you can like make people like just double over and like
Yeah.
cripple them with
There's
sound.
This is crazy. So when I was working at Vice, one of the stories we were working on was this guy who specializes in in directed energy weapons, and we never ended up doing the story because access is always a challenge. But what people think about directed energy weapons is they assume it's like you're holding a plasma blaster or like a blaster from Star Wars, and like lasers come out of it. One of the directed energy weapons he had was a strobe light that flickered different colors that made you vomit.
It reminds
Yeah.
me of the Transmetropolitan comics where he has the bowel disruptor gun.
Have you guys
So
seen?
powerful.
Have you guys seen
Have you
Kick-Ass
guys
2?
read that? It's the best
No.
comic ever. You got to read it.
Have you guys seen the movie Kick-Ass 2? She has
No.
the sick stick where when she pokes the girls with it, they start vomiting and,
Oh,
and
no.
crapping their pants. Well, so there's actually, so they claim, we didn't test them out, but it's shaped like a gun, but it's a round strobe light, a bunch of LEDs in different colors, that when you point at someone and flash, it makes them physically nauseous, and if you hold it for I think like 10 seconds, they'll start throwing up. So they were pitched as crowd control weapons. I don't know if they use them or I don't know if it's legit. There's also the Dazzler, which is a directed energy weapon. It's a high-powered laser, and what you do is you hold it at someone's face and you click it, and it blinds them for 30 seconds. So the easiest way it's a high-powered laser, and the way it was described to me is like, when you like look at a bright light and then you see there's like a spot there for a second.
Yeah.
Imagine if your entire field of vision was that, and all you could see was that weird spot, but it was everything. You're blind. Wow. And then you have to wait for your eyes to come back and like start seeing again. That's what Dazzlers do. They hold it and click it in your face, and then you're blind. And they use them in the Middle East. Directed energy weapons are serious business, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we don't. No, go ahead.
So news came out about 4 weeks ago about the Havana weapon syndrome, whatever it was, and apparently they couldn't decide if it was a weapon or not. They kind of dragged their feet on figuring it out, and I guess the U.S. shut down CIA operations in the area and have been running the embassy with a skeleton crew ever since. So Canada pulled out altogether. They pulled their diplomats out, and it looks like they have no idea what happened, and they're not interested in finding out, which is really interesting to me. It sounds like a weapon to me.
I bet there's a whole bunch of crazy
Yeah.
weapons. Do you think they have rods from God built?
Definitely. So I don't know if it's tungsten. You said it was like
Tungsten
gravity
rod?
tungsten rods
Yeah.
that come down and cause mass explosion when they hit the ground.
rods from God.
Probably.
Interesting.
I
Or
thi-
it just doesn't make sense anymore. I'm telling you.
Well, so-
especially with China.
But it's psychological warfare now.
Oh yeah.
And I do believe that I think China is absolutely fanning the flames of the culture war because we are on the verge of ripping each other's throats off in this country. We had an article from the Epoch Times saying secession, like it's time to talk about legitimate separation of the states. You've got, Luke and Michael Mouse on the show have been like, maybe we need a peaceful divorce before things get crazy. And I don't even think, I know a lot of people on the left, whenever they hear this, they immediately say like, you're fanning the flames. I'm like, it was John Podesta who told I think he spoke at the Boston Globe or it was related to the Boston Globe. He had advised West Coast states to secede, he had said, it is better that West Coast states secede if Donald Trump wins. Like, that's what should happen.
Wow.
So it's been Democrats talking about this stuff. So it's not just Republicans. It is like, you know what I mentioned? I mentioned a couple, like last week. A lot of people like Bill Maher, man, does he get it wrong. He was like, we can't have a civil war. I think it was Bill Maher. It's like the Mason-Dixon line would go through Nana's kitchen. It can't happen. And it's like, what makes you think it would be a replica of what happened 170 or 60 years ago? It would not be.
Right.
It'd be very, very different.
Yeah. And the borders there wouldn't be borders. Canada and Mexico would be thrust into it. It would be terrible.
But here's the main point. Back then, there was a moral fight. Abolitionists were storming, like, sign me up. I'm in. Hans Christian Heg was not even American, and he was an abolitionist. I think he wasn't American. He may have become American, but he was an abolitionist who fought for the Union because slavery was wrong and must be ended. It was the North saying, we will end slavery, and the South saying, get out of here, we can do what we want. Like, we have our rights. Our states will operate as we want. You have no right to come in. And the North being like, for one, you're not going to destroy the Union. You have no right to do it. And you had people fighting a moral battle over slavery. There's no moral battle today. If right now we're hearing from Democrats, yeah, well, if Republican states leave, then they're going to suffer because their blue states subsidize the red states. And then I see other Republicans going, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want your money then. So right now, I think if you actually had a legitimate, like, question between the factions, like an Antifa leftist or an establishment Democrat, how would you feel if a red state decided to leave the Union? They'd probably mostly be like, good riddance, I guess. And if you ask Republicans, they'd probably be like, yeah, absolutely, bye. There's no moral battle. Like, you're not going to see establishment Democrats being like, we must preserve the Union. You're not going to see it. I mean, you might see corporate establishment warmonger types being like, we must preserve the military-industrial complex.
Corporatocracy would be like, we're going to siege your ports and maintain your oil fields. We're not letting the state go.
Ian, the corporate kleptocracy.
Yes, the kleptocracy will steal the seat of governor and replace someone new there.
I think, there was a poll where they asked about Texas secession because you have, Allen West endorsed this bill. It's going to legislation that will actually allow them to vote on secession. Most people's, like 65% said no, they can't secede, but it was like 25 or so percent or more said they should. And there's a small fraction saying like, I don't know. But I think as things carry on, like if we get to the point 2024, Donald Trump wins, right? All of a sudden, you're going to have all of the blue states being like, yeah, that secession stuff, like we're back on board with that. And then the Republican states are going to say, deal. Have a nice day.
I can see if China started to splinter like that, if like different areas of China started to go independent, that would be like maybe the end of the Communist Party, and there would be a lot more willingness to maybe become militarily active against China. And if that happens, so I would imagine if it happened in the U.S., the same thing. People would think about that about the U.S. They'd go, oh, now's our chance. Let's go. Let's take it. So no secession, no breakup.
Right.
Not right now.
If we break up, China just laughs.
Yep.
They just say, okay. And they just take everything.
It's more important. That's why we stay together, is the bigger picture.
But I think that's what I was saying. Like, I think China fans the flames on purpose, hoping it's going to happen because it's their victory.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad things for them, for sure. But
I would love to get a Soviet expert in here to talk about the fall of the Soviet Union, because it kind of just happened peacefully. And I tried to watch a documentary, and it's very confusing. I think a lot of it happened behind the scenes, and the corporations were involved. But it was peaceful. And it was the dissolution of the Soviet Union, like the most dangerous communist threat the world had ever seen up to that point. Maybe the most dangerous threat the world had ever seen, maybe besides the Romans up to that point. Well, or the U.S., depending on who you're asking. Obviously. So
yep.
I'd like to see something like that go down in China, but I just don't know enough about Russia's...
I don't know, man. But I'll say this. Should I mention what you got me for?
Yes.
Gonna get me canceled again.
Again.
Then should I not?
No, it's fine.
Cassandra got me this really great card game. It's called Right or Racist, and it's actually like it's. I was wondering, it's like, it's going to be like a pro-Trump thing or anti-Trump thing. It's not. It's neither.
Yeah.
There's actually like some really
interesting
things. So like the cards ask you a question.
Statistics and stuff.
Yeah, there was one where it was like, what was the one that was surprising? Oh, it was like a study found that most female truck drivers are lesbians.
Yeah.
Is that right or racist? And it doesn't really mean racist. It's like, are you bigoted or? And it turns out
or
it's
is
like
it a stereotype?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a stereotype or is it true? And that one was true, apparently. That's what the card said.
Nice.
And it's like, and it shows a MAGA guy, and he's got like, goatee, sunglasses or whatever. And it's like, it's true. There were some really surprisingly messed up questions where it's like, this is true, and it's like, yikes. I'm not even gonna mention what they were.
But it's really fun though.
Because so I have to say, I would actually argue this is moderately anti-woke, because some of these cards, even if it's true, very much so would get you canceled.
Spicy.
Like, I'll put it this way. If you, who was it who got, was it Tommy Robinson? Tommy Robinson tweeted about statistics in child abuse in the UK,
Rotherham.
and they banned him for it. And like even Majid Nawaz was like, "Whoa, wait, but that's true!" Like he got banned for tweeting a legitimate article about crime stats. So
I'm pretty sure those cards would get you banned. A
yes,
lot of them.
I think so. Yeah.
If we filmed ourselves playing this, it would just like
We'd have to beep out almost complete sentences.
Yeah,
That'd be
it wouldn't be
so
worth
funny.
it.
no,
Yeah.
no.
And they take aim at everyone.
Here's what would
Yeah,
be really
they do.
funny. Here's what would be really funny. You would read a card and it would say like, in 2017 they did a study and found that this group does this thing. And then whenever it turns out to be true, we're just like, and is it true? It's
It's censored.
Yeah.
and then we'll go next card. It's not true. It's actually a statement. So you know,
Right.
Because like only when it's true is it censored, and then when it's not true, it's like we're fine.
Oh, yeah,
That'd be
we're
really
good.
really funny.